Hello, and welcome to my video explaining my process for the Ryze Realm Warp ability. This initially was made for the blipsounds.com January sound design challenge. And I just wanted to make a video showing what I did to achieve the sound effect that I made. The sound effect that I made sounds like this. So that was made with some pretty difficult source recordings. There was a I guess handicap put on the contest where we could only use these three source recordings, and it's all just a bunch of gross like squeaks and room noise. Just these nasty squeaks. So there's a section where there's guitar notes. It's at the very end here. And I took that most prominent one, and for the runes popping up on the ground where he actually there, I basically cut up that guitar note, the most prominent one, and into 5 different audio files, and I pitched them all differently in an effort to create a more musical tone, or a more musical, like, I guess, pitch sequence. I also did a little bit of like EQ difference on those. Like some of them have a really heavy low pass filter, and as the sound progresses, I remove that low pass filter, or I eased up on it a little bit in order to give it like an opening up sound. I don't know, to me it just gives it more like a progression for the sound effect itself. So there was that. For the warps, there were a few different layers here. Since it's most of the sound effect, the disappear and appear were actually just chair squeaks that I took and manipulated. So, and that was for the very end. I don't know, I like the squeakiness. Anyway, so there was that. For the warps, I started with white noise. I did some white noise manipulation here. So I just found a room, like a room tone, and then just compressed it and pitched it specifically to sound like that. Removed all the low end and just made the pitch go up. Added some reverb on that, and that is to help fill out the rest of these. So these are the actual warp sounds, and to me it just felt empty and alone, so I added that, and it filled it out for me. And there was a lot of filter automation and everything, as well as pitch automation. I added some tremolo to certain things, like the low rise and the low rise bounce in place file was basically, I took the low, there's a low section to this, and I took that and I put some tremolo on it and gave it a little bit of a shakiness, but both of them together, it just fills it out, because it's really easy for low end stuff to get lost behind a lot of the high end stuff, because our ears are more sensitive to higher frequencies, and once they get to a certain point, it's kind of hard to hear them. So to double up on that was kind of my point there. So that was the warps. There were some other little things, like the swishes, like whenever he moves his arms right there to start the sound effect. I wanted to add something there. And there's also one for when he actually disappears. So the one that starts it has some delay on there, some echo, and then it's also, this one doesn't have any delay. I wanted it to end a little more abruptly than the first one. I also did I guess a reverse of one of the switches, and that's how the sound effect actually built up into what it was. Super subtle. Because that's technically the very first thing you hear. So together, and that just kind of starts it, and gets your ears ready for whatever else is coming. So I didn't want it to just abruptly start, so I had it fade in. And last but not least, there's a section where the light actually is brightest, right there where it impacts with the ground and then starts the warp. I actually made a sub out of one of the squeaks that was a little more transient than everything else, and it made this. And honestly, that took me longer than anything else in this, because there wasn't anything transient to build off of. I mean, there was, but it was, I don't know, for some reason I was having difficulty with it. So I think it was that part, and I just pitched it down and compressed the crap out of it, and that's how I made that. So all together, yeah, so that was my process for that. I'm looking forward to doing this February one, and I'll be posting a video of how I did that a little sooner than the middle of the next month, like this one. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you got something from it. If you want me to go a little deeper on some aspect of it or whatever, just let me know. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and have a good one.